Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I want to welcome you to this afternoon's edition of Good Grief. Thank you for joining us here in the Lion's Den, where we definitely want you to know on this journey called grief, you are not alone. I'm so glad to see you, Rebel. Listen, Rebel. Our hearts are just going out to you in the loss of Pewter. I know this has been a very traumatic experience, a very traumatic situation. As was said earlier in the repast that you had this morning, truly Pewter has carried all our griefs and known all of our sorrows. You understand what I'm saying? Pewter has done everything, sacrificed her life for our liberty. And listen, we understand
for our liberty. Oh my God, I'm weak.
We understand the pain that you are going through right now. And we here on Good Grief want you to know you are not alone. And truck driver, I see you, my brother. So much love to you. So much love. I see you dabbing your face with the Kleenex. I understand. I do understand. And we're here for you. We just want you to know that we are here for you. And with that, Kim Possible, Crazy Berry Town, both of you, whatever you'd like to say on this fine afternoon, you two beautiful ladies are just bringing the joy that I know Rebel and others need in this hour of dark distress.
It's I don't know what the word is for my giggles. It's bittersweet. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a tough day.
Yeah.
Tough day because I feel as a viewer, Miss Pewter, gave a lot to me, and was the vehicle for Rebel's amazing ministry. And so it is a sad day, and we all mourn the loss of Miss Pewter, and it's just sad.
Yes.
It's really sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
I agree. I just hate I didn't get to know Miss Pewter as well, but I know the impact that she's had on so many, and that she is going
Right.
to be greatly, greatly missed. So
Yes. Yes.
You are in our thoughts and prayers, Rebel, along with the Church of Funk family
Yes, yes,
and the Bengals family.
the whole family.
The
The whole-
Bengals, yes,
Yes, everybody.
everybody. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at my TV. I'm trying to pull up our stream for my fam that's here. I have my family's in town. I can't seem to find it. Oh wait, there it is. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna mute it though. Don't worry, we're not gonna have any reverb or anything. I think.
right.
Wait, it's not muted. Cheese on bread. There we go. All right, there we are. All right. So how's everybody doing today? I mean, besides Rebel,
We know that Rebel is in mourning.
The church is in mourning.
The church is in mourning.
Yeah. But we're all here for you, and we're praying for better days ahead. And we know that Miss Pewter can't be replaced, but we hope that what is next on the horizon is bigger and better and brighter, and will help you to go forth in your ministry, as you would say.
Yes.
So,
yes.
amen.
And in all seriousness, we can address, I know we're clowning with her, but you can get attachments to things that you created such a relationship, and it's so critical and vital to who you are, that and where you are, that I mean, you can really grieve things, even though we're teasing Rebel, but you can have grief over things like that. And I think sometimes people really don't realize that's a reality in some instances.
I agree.
I
think
do too.
I mean, it's actually really, maybe perfect is not, maybe apropos. It's like really something that's relatable in terms of this stream, and when we think about grief. And, we've talked about there's different types of grief, right? And I think even in losing a person, which is what many of us chat about from time to time, sometimes there are things, things that go along with that person, things that belong to them, or something that they would have, whatever, and you lose that too. And then you had, again, like, as you said, STL, the attachment to that. And there's a grief and a sadness that goes along with that.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember during the pandemic, I mean, we lost so many people, but we also lost businesses.
Yes.
We lost places that, we normally go through. I remember after so many things closing in Atlanta, y'all know I love Chick-fil-A. So there's a Chick-fil-A out by off the Crown Road in Hapeville. And it was the original Chick-fil-A. And I had not been during the pandemic. And so I decided, surely they're open. they're always open. They used to be open 24 hours a day. So I had left church, was driving home, got off the exit, and pulled up next to where it used to be. They had it gated off. And I literally had a meltdown right there in the middle of the street. I drove around, pulled in front of it. And I'm like, okay, to me, it represented how bad things were. And, the place that I had these memories, because I had actually gone in and sat down to eat. I'd been at that drive-through a million times. I knew somebody that worked there. It was just, it was too much. It was like everything coming to a point in that moment. Luckily, they were tearing it down to rebuild it bigger, but I didn't know that.
Okay.
But to my mother, Greenbrier Mall, the Macy's on the anchor store in Greenbrier Mall closed during the pandemic. We got the email. We were already beginning to grieve about that because that was the mall. That was the Black Mall when I was a child. That's the first mall. That's the first mall where a Chick-fil-A was. And then now to drive over there, and it closed sooner than they said it was going to close. So my mother was on her way over to just go in for the last time, see what was left and all of that, and pulled up, and everything was shut down, boarded up. And she had her meltdown moment in the parking lot.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, what in the world is happening?
Yeah.
How is this possible? So we grieve all kinds of things, and spaces for us hold memory, which mean it also holds things that were important to us, special things that happen in spaces. Yeah. So it's not unusual to be attached to something that's not a physical human thing.
Yeah.
But spaces, objects, things like that, that represent certain things for us, we can grieve about those things as well.
You
Yeah.
know, that brings to mind, and also just share this real briefly, a dear friend, and she went through a season of really, really bad spousal abuse. And
Mm.
she got out, thank God she got out, and she got out well, you know. But at the end of the day, she recounts how, and she's kind of going through a process now where they want her to stop smoking. And she's grieving that because, as she calls them, her babies. She said, "My babies, when nobody was there with me, when I was crying and I couldn't talk to anybody, when I had been beaten, bruised, and battered, my
Mm.
babies never
Mm.
left me."
Mhm.
And so there is
Mm.
a grief and a grieving that she's
Mhm.
having now in this phase of trying to let the babies go. And I get it. You know, she won't say
Yeah.
that to a lot of people because she
Of
thinks people
course.
look at me like I'm crazy. But I get it. You know, when that has been something that has sustained you or been with you through some very, very difficult times, you can actually create an attachment like that. And that's real talk.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I get it. Hmm. Yeah. I think, thinking about, even, holding on to certain things that belong to my mom. There's some things that I easily just, gave away. Part of it was just the sheer volume, like her clothes. And she just had so much stuff and so many shoes, I just like, hey, just take it. But
Mhm.
then there's something like even I think I mentioned her bedroom slippers, how they're in, the room. Like I just can't let them go. I just have so many memories of her dancing in those slippers around the house. And and she only wore those metallic gold Daniel Green slippers. And God forbid, they're sold out, or they didn't have, or something. I'll never forget, I couldn't find them, and she needed some slippers because she would wear them into the ground. And I got her some, I don't know, like some aerosols or something. I don't know. They weren't Daniel Green. I mean, and the world was over. You would have thought that
Mhm.
I called her ugly or something. She's like, "What is this? Look at it." And so I laugh about that when I see it. I just can't let them go. Like most people might look at those slippers. They're in a back bedroom, and it's usually our guest bedroom. So when people come, they welcome her at the door. And I just can't get rid of them. I will never wear them. I mean, I don't wear the size as her anyway, but um, I just, yeah, I just can't imagine getting rid of them. And it's just, I can see her wearing them. I can see her opening the box for Christmas when I would find them for her, or just like I said, dancing in the kitchen or whatever. And it's just that those memories that are attached, and those special little giggles that I get when I look at them sometimes, and I just won't
Mhm.
go away. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
They're
mean,
not even mine, they were hers.
no.
you know?
But in that case, I mean, I would never give them away either.
Yeah.
That would be something that I would just have to keep. I mean, there are things that represent certain things for us, and it would even be more traumatic to then lose the thing that now
Yeah.
represents the relationship, or someone that meant so much to you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Afternoon, Miss MCP
Let
812.
me mute myself
Hey,
one
girl. Yeah.
She is First Lady T Rail. First time in the chat. So glad to have you today, dear. Thank you for coming in. DJ Stacy Blessed One, we see you in the house. So come on in the Lions Den. So much mad love coming to you. And we appreciate you for being in the Lions Den. And BTD Mom, I think you also came in as we were talking and chatting. So just want to shout you ladies out and appreciate you for coming in. And again, as we always say about this space and place in the Lions Den, you are not alone. We are here with and for you. And with that, you ladies, take it right away.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess we haven't checked in. How's everybody doing? STL, how are you today? How's your week been? How you feeling?
I feel good as it relates to grief directly. I guess I'll say I'm feeling, it's almost like maybe I was numb, like
Mm,
Novocaine on your gums. And then as
okay.
it gradually wears off and the feelings coming back, I think I
Hmm.
feel like the Novocaine's wearing off.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah, it's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. So yeah, that's a real feeling. Those nerves are coming back alive. So it's been
yeah.
one of those kind of weeks.
Gotcha. I completely relate. I'm positive I said it here that I felt that way for a year or more. and people were always surprised, like, you're doing so well, the first Mother's Day and whatever. And I later learned that I was just numb and just kind of trying to make it every day. And then after about a year and a half, it started to wear off, and I felt everything. I felt the heaviness and the sadness and the pain, because that numbness had worn off. So I totally see where you're coming from. Yeah. Kim, how you doing today, my love? How's your week been?
It's been a busy week, but last week I wasn't with you guys, and one of my older friends passed away last week, Miss Gladys.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Gladys was in when I graduated from college. I joined the sanctuary choir at church, and she was one of the ladies in the choir that kind of took me under her wing. She has a son, Robert, who's an only child like me. And so he and I are buddies. He's a chef now. And it has just kind of thrown me. But I've been so busy over this week, I hadn't really had time to really think about it. Or even because he hasn't planned the services yet or anything. Because I think he's just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you need help? What do you need?
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody? He's like, no, I'm just not ready. And so he's just not even ready to even, he's acknowledged that she's gone, but he's not ready to engage the process of planning a funeral yet. And that's hard because you can't make anybody figure that out. I mean,
right. It's their person, right?
To support, but he just hasn't even, he's just like, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be okay, but I'm not okay, and I'm just not ready for that yet. Okay.
Wow.
All right.
It's a process, and everybody, it's different. Yeah, that's hard though. It's hard to see someone suffering, like that, and they're just kind of stuck. It's hard to see that. Yeah.
And as an only child, it really does kind of hit me because that's kind of. He doesn't really have a relationship with his dad. There's other people around that, all of his friends are like, bro, what do you need? How can we help? What do you, do you need us to do it for you? What do you need us to do? And he was like, I'll let y'all know. So he's just kind of in a space.
Yep. Yeah. When he said, I'll let you know, then that means I'm over here just trying to make it. Yeah.
Right. So that's, not that I forgot about it, but I was kind of like, okay, why am I tearing up again? And I'm like, it's Miss Gladys. So yeah. And honestly, because it was her, Rita, Johnetta, and Miss Eloise, who are all over 60. And so when Rita got married, we all went to her wedding in Hilton Head together. So here I am, 20 some years old, traveling. Yeah. They were probably in their late 40s at that point. Nice. Traveling with them to go to this wedding. We had a ball. I mean, we went to Walmart, bought our little hats and stuff because it was going to be on Defusky Island, and had a great time. And now that Johnetta has moved back into town, I'm like, oh, we all need to get together. And I said that last week, and then 2 days later, she's gone. So I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
So kind of this, maybe I should have thought about that sooner. Could it have even happened sooner? I don't know.
Right.
But we'll still get together just without Miss Gladys.
Yeah. DJ Stacy Blessed One, we're sending love and prayers to you, and the loss of your aunt and burying her, and then soon after losing your cousin. So sending condolences your way. We're so sorry.
Yes.
We know things have been a bit rough lately, and we're praying for you. And MCP 812 said, I just recently took the last pair of glasses that my daughter wore and had my prescription put in them. I almost had a car accident on the way home because it took me to another zone. One of her friends saw me out, and eyes got big as saucers. I think she thought she saw a ghost.
Oh, wow.
When I got home, I cracked up about it. I just wanted to share. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I bet that was some kind of feeling, that emotion, right? And it's amazing how something like glasses, just some item, right, can evoke that kind of emotion and feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, that goes right along with what we're talking about. So thank you for sharing that. See, right, DJ Stacey Blessman, right? You said your anniversary of your dad's passing is coming up. Yeah, I knew something was, coming up soon. And then now you have the passing of your cousin and burying your aunt. So
Yes.
we are sending love your way, mad love, as we say.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
And hello to Shia's First Lady T-Rail. Welcome to you today. I know STL already welcomed you, but just wanted to say, hey, I see you in the chat. Thanks for being here. First time. We appreciate you. Yeah.
Yes. And I wanted to bring in as well, Den Darn is here, and she shared in the stream this morning in the Lion's Den about the loved one, the little child that was swept away yesterday in the flooding. And so we're sending all kind of mad love to her as well.
Absolutely.
And to the family there in Jamaica, because those types of unexpected situations, that's really something, especially with the child. So much love coming to you. Lots of love going out in the Lion's Den today. Lots of love.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to try to pull up. I heard from Bethy Savage. I forgot what she said because I read it. Not that I forgot. I read it quickly this morning. I was half asleep. But Bethy Savage, you all remember her mother passed suddenly. Jennifer invited her. And matter of fact, I messaged her. She buried her mom like a couple of weekends ago. So that Monday, I messaged her to say, hey, I'm just thinking about you. I know, this weekend had to be really tough. So she said she's taken the last couple of weeks to find time, like to find herself, and that she has to do some finalizations for the headstone. And she said she feels lost and alone, and her heart hurts, but she's hanging in there. So just keep Bethy Savage in your prayers. She, again, has been here a couple of times as she prepared to bury her mom. So, let's just keep, again, so much love going out to everyone today.
Yeah.
Prayers for everyone. So, it's tough. It's tough. But that's why we're here. Again, as, I always say, STL is probably going to fire me if I keep saying thank you. But but again, that's why I really appreciate this space that we have together, because there's nothing like it, I don't think. And it's just a great place. And I know people, and I love seeing the return names and people that are in the stream, because I know it's a place that people feel safe. And that's what we wanted to create, is a safe space, not just for us. This is blessing me, of course, and STL and Kim Possible, I'm sure. But we want it to be a safe space for you as well. And the fact that you keep coming and you share, because you all could be there. We could see like the viewer count and nobody says anything, right? And the fact that you all are here and you're saying something and sharing really emotional and sometimes intimate things with us is really a blessing for all of us. So thank you.
Yeah.
So Den Darn, let's see. Oh, that's so sad. Yeah, I saw that in the stream. So looking at photos put up about him. That is, especially with, all loss is, it's never good, but children, especially, it's tough. Yeah. Yeah, MCPA 12. Yeah, there are certain items you will never let go. Believe me. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I said, even though it's just, her slippers, right? It's just, such a simple thing, but I'll never get rid of those things. And then there are things too that are, I guess, what we would consider heirlooms. I was giving Captain Boots the rundown the other day of a chest that I have of my mom's that belonged to her mom, and then a chair. I have a wingback chair that my grandfather had. My mom recovered it. And so he asked me how old it was. I said, I don't know. So I told him we have to take it and turn it over, because sometimes those chairs, those furniture that was built all those years ago, they'll have something like either written or a stamp of when it was put together, built. So I told him we'll do that this weekend. We'll turn the chair over and see if we can figure it out. But at minimum, it belonged to my granddad. So of course that kind of thing I'll never get rid of. And because Captain Boots is my only, and I'm an only child, it's his. It'll go to him, So, so I try to teach him about it and talk to him about it, so he'll keep it. So that's what my mom said. She
family history, son. Don't
right.
It stays in the family.
Right. Don't just leave it out on the curb, right?
Right.
But my mom used to say, she said, girl, I know when I die, you're going to pull a dumpster up to this house and just throw everything out. And I'm like, not quite. But and she would always joke and say, but just here's a few things you must keep. You can put everything in the dumpster, but these few things, like her jewelry, of course, and, the chair and the chest. But they're just some things you just can't let go, whether they're heirlooms or whether, again, for some of us, they just have a special memory attached to them, even if it's something not necessarily antique or whatever, like those Daniel Green slippers, they're not antique, but again, they evoke amazing memories for me. So
do they even still make those?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because
I had a hard time finding them for a while. Like I mean, I would find them, but it was a struggle. And when I finally found them and got her size, I would order like 2 or 3 pairs because that's all she'd wear. And she was one of those people that take her shoes off as soon as she got in the house and put on her bedroom slippers and just keep them on all night, all day. So she wore them down. Yeah. She's Lady First T-Rail. I lost my mom in 1997. I'm the baby in the family, and everybody treats me as such. The love I have for my mom. I didn't want to go to school from K through 4 because I wanted my mom. I hated being away from her. When I moved out, I moved down the street, and when I moved again, it was the opposite way down the street. Yeah, it sounds like you had a really special and close relationship with your mom. Yeah, I get that. So I know, losing her in 1997, I know that was tough. Yeah, MCP 812 right now, I'm facing the reality that I can't continue to make the payments on her car. It's tearing me apart for real. I do, again, and again, that's, to some people, it's just a thing. But when that thing is attached to your loved one and has just, it's just that, again, it's somehow the bridge almost in a way, right? In that way.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry about that. Yeah.
And Val, her daughter, had a special attachment to her cars. I mean, that's what she's known for, her cars.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that before, or maybe in a Discord or something.
Yes.
MCPA 12 might have mentioned that. Yeah. Speaking of Discord, I won't be in the Discord today. My family's in town, and we're going to get Captain Boots early from school. We're checking him out early, which is like, to a kid, checking a kid out early from school is like going to Disney World or something.
Right.
Jumped out of bed. So he was dragging this morning, and I was like, if you don't hurry up and get out of this bed. So I said, surprise for you. So I'm going to check you out early. Child, he jumped up out of that bed so fast today and got dressed for school because I'm picking him up early. So yes, I won't be in Discord today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so what's on you guys? What's on what's happening with you all? Anything on your mind? I always try to think of something to talk about. If we get stuck, or if it depends upon the chat. Sometimes the chat, will turn us a certain way. And me and Instagram, you already know. But I found it was like a 10 slide kind of thing. Things that people who are grieving want you to know. And so they have all these different things, but I don't want to read any of them. I want to hear from you all. Those of you who are, you're grieving or you've experienced loss of any kind. What do you want people to know about you, about your grief, about your person or your people? Is there something you just want to get off your chest? Something you want people to know? And remember, and this is what I've said before, sometimes, I just said this to my stepmom who's here. I said, sometimes I feel like, and I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, at least for some people, but I feel like some people are tired of hearing about my mom, and so I know when I can come in this safe space and talk about her, and it's okay. But it could be that. Is there something you want to share about your grief, about your person, or just anything in this process, something you learned maybe that you think might help someone else, something you learned about yourself maybe through your grief process. Is there anything you want people to know? MCP 812 says, I want people to know it's okay. Yes, to say her name and talk about her. Funny you say that. The first slide on this little post, it says, I like to talk about my person. I don't mean to make it awkward because it's not awkward, right? It's okay to talk about that person and to say their name. Yeah. And I think people think we are just going to crack up or fall, not crack up laughing, but like just fall apart if you say their name, and it's not that at all. It's to me, I feel like it's the opposite. We want you to,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mhm.
We feel, whew, yes, they get it. They see her. She's not here, but they, so I feel like it's the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I would
absolutely,
agree.
I want people to know it's okay. Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's really what keeps their legacy alive, is
Absolutely.
to continue to speak the names of those that have gone on before us.
Hmm.
Because if they're not talked about, then they can be forgotten. So
Yeah.
you have to, and not that they would be forgotten to us, but they could be forgotten to other people. So it's
And
always
you see
important.
what Mrs. Cox said.
Mhm,
Yeah, yeah. She said, since her mom's passing, my aunts have become very distant. At times, I
mm,
feel as if they have forgotten her. So you're right
wow,
on the same
mhm,
wavelength there. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and it makes you feel some kind of way,
It
right? Like you
does,
feel,
because it's like,
yeah,
was she not important as important to you as she was to me?
right, right,
So, or he, so always
yeah,
say their names.
Mhm.
yeah. I
Always.
swear, I contend that one of the best things I've ever experienced or seen on Twitch was the day that people put their person's name in the chat and then STL read them off. I don't think there was a better moment for me on Twitch ever.
Hmm.
That was so powerful. And
Hmm.
for me, just hearing other people's names, it validated for me again that we're doing the right thing and that it's okay. We're in this together, and to just keep hearing those names, spoken out loud. It was beautiful. Yeah, that was
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah. And ironically, right before that happened on this stream, it had happened on Droopy's stream like the week before, and MC Rio was the one reading the names.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Wow.
And I thought about that the other day. I was like, man,
Mhm.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just important. And, culturally, from an African perspective, that's one of the things that they do.
Mhm. It's
As long
true.
as their names are spoken, then they are here, they are with us.
Mhm.
And so we have to always do that.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of Mexican culture, the Day of the Dead.
Hmm.
Dia de los Muertos. And every year, they honor their loved ones, with some kind of offerings, ofrendas, and they make these different, little snacks and items. They light candles. And now, some have kind of changed it a little bit and do other things. They light maybe lanterns and put them in the water, sort of like they do in some Asian cultures. But it's a holiday. It's like it's a thing, right? And it is targeted. It is on purpose, every single year. And they sort of, what I've learned in my research about it, and I participated in a couple of ceremonies at the Atlanta History Museum. They have a ceremony every year, and then a little, like, not a party, but it's just sort of like a party. They decorate, they have pinatas and stuff.
Hmm.
But they offer these things to their loved ones so their spirits are satisfied. So sometimes people will say, so they don't come back and haunt them. You could look at it that way too, but it's so they're satisfied. So even though they're gone, we're still actively participating in loving them. We're
Mhm.
still doing something. And that is really one of the hardest things for me. And I mentioned it took forever to get my mom's headstone because that was the last act to me. To me, I thought it was the last, like, thing and the last act of love that I could actively do something for her, because all my life, in my adult life anyway, I just expected that I would take care of her. I told you when I met Tim, I was like, dude, I if we get married, something happens to my mom, she's coming to live with us. If you can't handle that, then we can just keep it moving. But I'd always prepared for that and I wanted to take care of her. And
Hmm.
so in her death, I took care of a lot of stuff, the house and cleaning this and doing that and the bills and all this paperwork and stuff. And getting her headstone was the last thing, and I could not do it. I said, in my mind, I felt if I do that last thing, I have no way to actively take care of her and love her. And that is why I love the Day of the Dead, because it's something they look forward to every year. And they're doing something. They're making these sugar skulls. They're like their little pastries,
Mm-hmm.
and they're lighting these candles and doing this active thing to show their love. And I think it's precious. I love it. I think it's just
Mm-hmm.
such a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Within our church, we have All Saints Day, which is
Yeah.
the day after Halloween,
Hmm.
or the Sunday. It can either be the same Sunday or the Sunday after. And so we've been trying to really think creatively about how to do that, because I think it's important for people to have because what you're describing is a ritual of a way to just actively
Yeah.
remember those that have gone on. So to
Hmm.
create the space for people to still grieve. Because
Right.
Right.
one of the things that I think people need to know is that grief will last a lifetime. It never lets up.
Yeah.
It's never gonna go away. It's never gonna, you're never just gonna wake up one morning and it's over.
Hmm.
When it's over, it'll be because now you have gone on to be with the Lord or whatever. So,
Yeah.
it's all because and now as a clergy person, all the people that I've known or been in ministry with or have served, in some capacity, it's like it almost feels like I know way more people now.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's
Hmm.
way more
You do.
deaths happening to people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And each time there's another phone call, there's it reminds me of the people that I love very, very much that are no
Hmm.
longer here. Or if that person was somebody that I was very fond of, or they were very kind to me, or they had some type of impact on my life. So I'm gonna be going through this forever. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Hmm.
kinda just gotta get used to it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, true.
so, people need to know that you can't ever tell somebody, aren't you over that? No, I'm not. And I won't be, because there's gonna be another death at some point and it's gonna remind me. And now
Mm-hmm.
I've got to grieve this person, and now this person. So it's always gonna be something
Hmm.
going on.
Yeah. Yeah. MCP 812 said the headstone ordeal is so final. I'm struggling there also.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know that's hard. Yeah. Sending you lots of love. It is difficult. I finally just, I would call the lady. I know she probably thought I needed to be checked into a mental facility, but I called her and I would say, okay, I'm ready. And I would gird myself, and then I'd start crying. I'm like, okay, I'll call you back. She's like, okay. And so I think we probably did it like 5 or 6 times. And so she's like, you can email me. So since she sent me like these brochures and stuff. So I finally decided, that was the other thing. I couldn't even decide what I wanted. I wanted it to be perfect, and I wanted it to have the right little saying on it. And would she like it? I just could not I just couldn't focus and just get it done. And so I finally did it. But part of it was because I wanted to go to her grave and I wanted it to be there when I went. So I find that was kind of what made me knuckle down and do it. But it really was hard. And even typing in the payment, it just felt like this is it. This is my last piece of business to take care of her. And it hurts so bad. I mean, I did it. It's over now, and I'm glad because it's beautiful. And when we go, which we've only been once, me and Captain Boots, because she's, the drive from here is like 6 hours away. But that again, that's what I wanted. I'm like, I'm not going to drive all the way here for, yeah, I want to see something. So, but I'm glad I did it, but it was very painful. So MCP 812, I totally understand
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She is First Lady T-Rel. I didn't celebrate Mother's Day for 6 years after she passed. Then one Mother's Day, my husband said, "You may not want to celebrate, but your kids want to celebrate you." That brought me out of that. It took me 20 years to even talk about her without crying. I stopped crying when I noticed I sounded like her. She was witty and funny, and she would sit with us and crack jokes on us. She had a wonderful sense of humor. That's beautiful. And I love that. That brings tears in my eyes. As you said, when what brought you out of it is when you started to sound like her. What a beautiful revelation, and what a beautiful way to usher yourself out of that. Not that there's anything wrong with crying, right? We're not saying that, but to finally have that click for you when you open your mouth. I say that sometimes. I open my mouth and my mom came out, you know. But what a
Mhm.
beautiful thing, though. Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that.
Yes.
Yes.
Jen Darn says you'll never get used to it. It's just praying for strength when that day comes. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And Kim, so one of the slides, you know, what you said is it's forever. This one of the slides said, and these are submitted by different people, and they said it is a forever part of me and my future. So again, you know, and you know, and it's funny too because I read some of these things from Instagram, and what's funny is a lot of this stuff that I see we've talked about, or what you all just said just now are there, and that's again because for those of us who get it out and we talk about it, it's the same, right? And again, that's when we talk about grief is this great equalizer. We all, those of us who are honest about it and talk about it, we know it's forever. We know that it's not easy. We know we're gonna have good days and bad days and everything in between. We know that, you know, and all of us who grieve, no matter what our lot in life is, we all get it. We get that. So I'm sure more of what you all say in the chat or what we say today will come up on these slides because we're all on that same page and we get that. Yeah. One of the things that this says, and I always say this, I've written this down in my journal is, and I posted this as well on Facebook, carrying it well doesn't mean it's not heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that a lot.
Mm.
I've heard from people a lot, in particular, and again, I'm not trying to be shady. I'm not. And I think I mentioned this lady last week or a couple weeks ago. She was my mom's friend. She's a little, but she was older than, she was my mom's sister, her oldest sister's best friend. So she was like 9 years older than my mom. And so she'll just kind of just say stuff that just to me, just kind of insensitive.
Yeah.
And so she typed one day, you know, I was posting probably one of my foolish videos, not with the microphone because I didn't have it yet, but it wasn't terribly long after my mom died. And I was kikiing and acting a fool as usual. And so she said, well, it looks like you've gotten over your mom pretty good.
Really?
Swear on cheese, not lying. I'm like, okay, you know, and like I said, you know, I'm not gonna cuss anybody. I joke around, y'all. I'm really not that person most days, but definitely not gonna do that to her, right? I mean, she's my elder,
Right.
whatever. But and I don't think she meant it in a way like, you know, like shame on you. I don't believe that. But nevertheless, it was awful. It read awful and it felt awful. And that part of just because I carry it well doesn't mean it's not heavy. You all know clearly, you know, you all saw the cracks today in the Rebel. I'm a nut. But that's just how I've lived my whole life. But just because it's what you see here, you know, doesn't mean that inside, you know, I'm not falling apart. And sometimes it's not actively falling apart, but it's not that there are days that I'm heavy, right? So I may look like I've gotten over her, as she said, but and that was early. Like, I mean, when I say early on, I'm talking like it wasn't even a year, I don't think. And I think we were on vacation. That's what it was. We were on a cruise,
Mm-hmm.
and I posted some pictures after we got back or something. And yeah, and for her to say that, I mean, it almost killed me. But you know,
It sounds like she just doesn't even understand grief at all.
yeah,
There are
yeah,
people that don't. They really don't because, you know, I'm finding that, you know, grief can be how we process our grief can be cultural, it can be familial, it can be, you know, different
no
families
facts,
handle it different ways.
facts.
And she may be coming from a space where you just didn't, you know, you had how many days to do it, and then after that, we don't want to hear
Mhm.
about it. You
Yeah.
know, the gentleman that I mentioned a couple of streams ago who wasn't processing it has begun to process it now
Mm.
because it's now the fourth brother though that has passed away.
Oh wow,
And so he reached out
wow.
to our pastor and said he was having, you know, for the first time having a really hard time, and he didn't understand why he was having a hard time.
Mm.
So he didn't even get why he was emotional.
Poor
That
thing.
this
Oh my
is normal
gosh.
to be emotional. So the family dynamic of how he was raised and, to not really show emotion, and men don't cry and all of that. He, as his family, had bought into that, and he was really struggling with now having emotion about it when the rest of his family is not.
Wow.
And so, Pastor asked me, he's like, do you know what's going on? I was like, I knew that he wasn't processing it at all, but now it sounds like he's beginning to process. He's like, yeah, because he's really concerned that he's not doing it right. And I'm like, no, now he's doing it right.
Right.
But the rest of his family is looking at him like, why are you upset?
Right. Can you imagine? Oh my
Lost
God.
another family member. That's why. This is the fourth person in a year. So how else am I supposed to respond?
Right.
But they've been holding it in and holding it in. So the myths that people have and the ways that we've been taught how to do certain things may or may not be right.
Yeah.
So our hope that
You're
through
right.
the dream we're able to free some people up about
absolutely.
It's okay to cry, y'all. It's okay to have those moments and not make any apologies for them. It's okay to call the headstone people 5 times, because I'm sure it's happened multiple times. You weren't the first person that called a bazillion times like, I'm ready. Well, no, I'm not. Because that is the final, can be considered the final act. So, give yourself some grace as you go through this, because it is hard. God gave us tear ducts for a reason.
Right? I wear mine out.
I cry often. And when it comes, I'm like, okay, girl, let's go with it. And just go with it. And then I feel so much better after
I know, a good cry. I'm telling you, I feel
a good
like
cry.
a champ.
I mean, you just need it.
Right. Absolutely. I totally know what you mean. So she is First Lady Tiro, followed up with, and I realize I'm funny like her. We still crack jokes on each other, and me and my siblings, like, we have a lot of fun. We all sound like her. And that's when I said, wow, she's not in that grave. She's in my heart. Death can never separate the bond of love between a mother and her children. Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, only one Mrs. Cox. Yes, it is very cleansing. It is. I swear. I'm telling you, I gets down in the shower. I tell you, the crying. And I feel like I said, it's a perfect place. You just wash your face off. You're good. You don't have to waste any tissue.
No tissue lost. You just stand there and cry. Put your face under the water. Cry some more. Put your face under the water. Perfect.
Exactly.
Yes.
It is. Yeah. It is. Yeah. So yeah, that was the one that's forever. Carrying it well doesn't mean it's not heavy. One person said you feel alien or weird, like you're not a part of society anymore. It's lonely. It's lonely. It is lonely. Oh, MCP 812. Okay. Wow. But that feeling though, right? I mean, I know, that feeling is right there, right? Right in your heart, or maybe right there in your throat. I know that feeling of loss. Like when you have those glasses on, I know you really felt that.
And that
truck
is
driver.
Yeah. And MCP 812, that's really, to have your lenses in her glasses, that to me is just a precious, precious gift.
I agree.
I'm like, okay, let me see. I'm thinking like, do I have any of my grandma?
I know I have some of her glasses now. I didn't even think about that.
I'm like, man, listen.
I'm about to go find them right now, but y'all might see me next week.
That might be a thing. You might have just started a thing.
I know.
Like,
repurposed glasses. Good grief, repurposed glasses. Yeah, I love it. I never even thought of it. They're just sitting there. They're sitting in my drawer with her. Her glasses are in there, and her wedding rings, and she wore another ring. Actually, I'm wearing it now. This ring here. But she kept had those on in her casket, and so when of course they buried her, they gave all that to me, and it's just been sitting there, glasses and everything. But they're cute glasses though. She got them here in Atlanta. So who knows? I might be busting those out next or still when I get some new lenses, right? You're like, Tracy, your glasses are cute.
Yes.
The truck driver said my eyeballs sweat at least 3 times a day.
3
So you
times a
are
day.
cleansed, bro. Like you are
Yes.
cleansed deep down. I know that's
He
right.
has his
Yeah.
cleansing ritual down.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, but he carried it for how many years before he finally released
There
it?
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
because I mean, and that's to be expected too, right?
Yeah.
You know, some people's like, once I started, I couldn't stop. Well, how many years had it been since you hadn't cried?
right.
So you kind of got to catch up.
Right.
But you know, whenever it comes, just go with it.
Yeah.
Just go with it. There's
That's
nothing
always
wrong.
been,
Not at all. Not at all.
because we had a service at the church on Wednesday, and I had never met Miss Martha. She was a part of the Red Hatters, but just looking at the picture, I'm like, oh, I know this lady was a hoot. And so in talking to her son, I'm like, you are channeling your mother right now. I could absolutely see it. And his wife was like, yeah, he's a comedian just like his mother. And
Aw.
hearing the stories about her being a a fashionista, she sewed and made her own clothes.
Mhm.
Even when she was in the hospital, she's like, hold on, is my hair all right? Because people coming to see me. So I need to make sure my hair is done, my nails are
Yeah.
done. The lady had to come do her nails at the hospital, all of
Mhm.
that stuff. So,
Yeah.
there's just so many fond and precious memories that you can share and laugh about.
Mhm. No, that's true. You're so
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And I think that's part of it too. It is the tears sometimes, it is the laughter, it is the cracks, as Rebel says. It's all of that. It's all part of it, and there's no, one of the last slide on here, it says that, not the last one, one of the slides, it says it's fluid. There's no set way to
Mhm.
grieve. 1 minute you're fine, and the next you're in shambles,
Mhm.
and and fine being, you could be laughing, you could be on a vacation with your family, literally months after your loved one has passed, and be smiling and so forth. And then, maybe when the camera goes off, or you lay down at night and all your family sleep, and you're trying to go to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're crying or whatever, so there's no one way. It's all of that. What Kim just said, it's all of the laughter, it's the good times, it's the crying, it's the all of that. So yeah. She's First Lady T-Bro. I lost my father in 2013. So you lost your mom in 97. Okay, your father in 2013. And in between the time of my mother and father, I lost my only aunt and my big mama. Wow. So when my dad passed, I was sick of death. Now, this is funny. On the day of my father's funeral, I left my home to go get some stockings. And I had decided while I was out, I'm not going to go to the funeral, and went shopping. My husband and family was calling. I told them I'm shopping. Oh my gosh. That is funny. I guess you'd had it, really. Like you literally
Yeah.
done. Welcome. Is it Ronzi in it for the fashion?
Yes. Hi,
Hey
Ronzi.
there, welcome. And truck driver, yes, I carried my grief from 79 until about 2 years ago. So you let those tears come out, bro. Let's go. Yeah, that is, yeah. And I know people that have said that, like, they're just sick of death. It's just one, after another. And again, because there's no timeline on grief, right? It's not like you say, well, someone died 2 years ago and I'm better now, so I can take it. No, there's you whether it's a year or 2 months or whatever, you're still grieving from the previous loss. And sometimes it's kind of stacked almost in a way, from different loved ones or friends or church members or classmates or whatever. And then you get one more, and it's just like you go shopping on the day of a funeral. You just can't take it anymore. Because again, I think there's no timeline. You just can't say, okay, well, here's the next one. I'll put that one back there, or those back there. The new one is here. No, it just doesn't work like that at all. Yeah. So you guys are awesome today. I appreciate all of the comments. This has been great.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's helpful, to get out, I love what she, as First Lady T-Roll, has shared, just sharing those stories. And, and I can imagine you smiling as you typed all of those, or most of those, but that it's part of the grief process, and that feels good to be embraced in a safe space. And we want to hear it. We want to read it. And we care too, and so I really appreciate everybody who has shared today.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I've got to wrap it up. I got to go get your boy. And because then we got to come home and change, and then he has swim practice, and I'm making dinner tonight for everybody. So busy day. So I've got to wrap up shortly.
Okay.
Yeah. We love you too, MCPH
Love
World,
you
and I
too.
love your contributions always.
Always.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope all of you, if you have anything else to share in the chat, please do. I don't have to go right this second, but if you have anything else you want to share, you want people to know about your grief, your loved one, please drop it in the chat. And as you do that, I'll do my little ending spiel. Yes, only one Mrs. Cox is going to be in Atlanta.
She gonna be in Atlanta.
We partied it up here, down here.
We
in
did.
Atlanta.
Okay. So I was
Okay.
tired from the weekend and I didn't do everything. See, Crazy Bear Town did more than I did.
Listen, wait, how about I
That's-
felt like an imposter the whole weekend. Like I wasn't even supposed to be there. Listen, somebody gave me their ticket, STL. I wasn't even supposed to go to the Finesse Fest. And Miss Riz was gonna come, but she wasn't feeling well. So she wanted to gift me her ticket. I was like, well, I wasn't planning on going and I got a busy weekend or whatever. I don't think I'm gonna use it. Just don't waste it. She's like, well, just take it. If you go, you don't, whatever. Child, I was just about at everything. I had the best time for somebody who didn't want to go,
Mhm.
Good for you.
Oh my
Good.
God, it was fun. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was good to meet people that,
Yeah.
just so I have like a little bucket list. I've said this before, and Chanel B was on my bucket list, and it was amazing to meet her and
Mhm.
hang out with her. And then me and Captain Boots spent the day with her on, I think it was Sunday, digging in the crates. We went record shopping, so
Oh,
that was
Lord.
really fun because she went to go. Her dad was a musician in a group,
Uh-huh.
and so we went to find his records, and we did actually. We found like 4, so that
Oh,
was
cool.
great. So
Nice.
and we got Trey and I got a little history lesson about R&B groups and soul groups and stuff. So it was actually a lot of fun. So it was a good weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Let's see.
in 2 weeks it'll be the boxcar with
Oh,
LV.
right. Yeah, the soapbox
Yeah,
derby.
soapbox derby with LV. So there'll be quite a few people in town for that.
Mhm.
And then we're planning some type of dinner for
Yeah, I'm working on
gotta
that.
eat. We always want to eat.
I'm working on that right now. I can't find a
Right.
place. That's the problem. I keep.
Can we do the
I
same
called
place
back,
we just did?
I called them. I called back Marlos because I said, well, they said, well, how many people? And I said, well, like 50. Lisa said 50. And they were like, well, you got to call back and talk to the manager. And I've called them literally every day this week. And they're giving me the runaround. I was like, y'all don't want us to just show up. But anyway, because I was thinking we could have where we were, just have
Right.
all of that space. So
Mhm.
we'll see. Hopefully I'll figure, I said what I'll do is I'll go by there tomorrow, push comes to shove.
Mhm.
So, because the manager that I needed to speak with wasn't there. So,
Mhm. Okay.
but yeah, Rosie in it for the fashion. Thank you for being here. We're glad that you found us and
Yes.
you came in today. Thank you so much. Please come back. We're here every week, every Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central. And as you can see, it's casual. It's light. I tell people all the time. Sometimes we cry, sometimes we laugh, and everything in between. And we want you to. If you want to lurk, you can lurk. If you want to participate, share, ask questions, whatever. We just want it to be a safe space for everyone, as STL said. So thank you again so much for being here. And then she's First Lady T-Rail. Nobody can tell you how long to grieve.
Right.
I will always miss them, so I'll never stop crying. I just don't stay there.
Mhm.
What helps me also is my faith, because to be absent from the body is to be present with Christ. So yes, absolutely, your faith is a huge part of the process as well, and helping you get through. Like you said, you don't stay there, and
Mhm.
part of what helps you to move, and many is faith. So thank you for sharing that. I hope that blessed somebody
Mhm.
today. DJ Stacy, bless one. Please take care.
Yes.
I want to finish. I always say find the joy in something, but I hope that the joy for some of you will be self-care. There's so much going on, and we're sending out lots of prayers and love to everyone, and you need it, but you also need to take care of yourselves, like actively, physically take care of yourselves. So as you are finding the joy that you deserve because you're worth it, please try to get in some self-care, men and women. Please
Mhm.
find the joy. Truck driver, nothing's happening this weekend. It's in 2 weeks. The 24th is, I know DJ LV is having a soapbox derby for his nonprofit organization. And so a lot of people are coming in town for that. And then after the derby at 5, we're going to get together at a restaurant or something. So I'll keep you posted in case you might roll through. Everybody else is coming, so come join the party. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks everybody. We really appreciate you guys stopping by, and that you were blessed by what was discussed here today. Know that we are continuing to hold each of you in prayer, and that, in spite of it all, allow yourself grace as you grieve, because there is no expiration date on it. So we'll be in the Discord for those who want to chit chat with us afterwards. Well, at least me and maybe STL, because CBT got other plans. But I'll be over there, and whoever else wants to be over there. So we'll see you over there. Have a great weekend.
Thank you all
See
so
you guys
much.
next week.